How about now? Okay. Hi, everybody. Sorry about that. Welcome to the I'm Back in the Country edition of Snakes and Scotch Live. I'm just going to wait till somebody confirms that you can now hear me. There we go. Okay, somebody just put better. Thanks, Holly. And Desiree also. Okay, great. You guys, it was because I was on mute again. It's so dumb. I shouldn't even admit that, but that's what happened. I checked my mic. My mic wasn't on mute, but my computer was. Apologies. So all that does is when people jump onto this live stream later to watch it later, and they see that there's no sound, they'll just turn it off, which is unfortunate. Okay. Hi, everyone. So we're going to get to this pretty quickly because we have a lot to cover. And I'm going to talk about my trip. But I'm going to try to talk about it in a way that doesn't give spoilers to future videos that are coming out. So I can tell you a lot about it, but there's a lot that I can't tell you about. So I'm going to answer some questions, and many questions I won't be able to answer because it'll be covered in future videos. Hey, don't climb on that, please. Okay. So let's first get to what I'm drinking because I haven't started yet. And what I'm drinking is 2 birthday gifts that came in that I hadn't opened until just now. Let me just undo Tiger Lily from my hat real quick. She's been up all day. I mean, probably not. She probably slept most of the day, but she was awake this morning and I brought her out and she was with me for a really long time. And then I put her back like late in the morning. And then I just opened her enclosure and she's awake again. So brought her out. Okay, so here's what I'm drinking. Look at this. First of all, Sarah sent me this triple smoke. This is an American whiskey, but it's a single malt whiskey, triple smoke, peated, which means for those who don't drink whiskey, that doesn't mean anything. But basically, this is Scotch, but it's not Scotch because it's made in America, and it's smoky, peated, like I like. So I'm very excited to try that. Plus, come on, really cool bottle, right? Look at that. So thanks, Sarah, for that. I've already poured some, but I haven't tried it yet. And then Tracy sent me this flavored bourbon. Now, what happened here is I don't drink flavored bourbon. And she told me about this stuff, and I said, "Yeah, I don't drink flavored bourbon. Or flavored whiskey. There's only one that I've tried that I liked. It's a dessert whiskey, and it's Screwball or something like that, which is good, but it's not like I don't categorize it as whiskey. It's like a dessert thing." So she said, "You've got to try this. I'm going to get it for you." And that was a long time ago. And then she got it for my birthday for me. So I'm going to try both of these right now. Give you a quick review. Here's the peated American single malt. Lovely. All right. That's really nice. It doesn't. I don't think I would have guessed that it's a Scotch. I thought that it was going to taste like Scotch, but it doesn't. There's something different about it. I like it though. It's really nice. It's not heavily peated, but it's good. I like it. All right. It's like a medium peat. It's not gonna overpower it. It's good. It's like a peated bourbon almost. Single malt means that it's made with barley, which is what Scotch is. It's malted barley. Okay, here's the flavored whiskey. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's really good as a syrup over ice cream, which is how I describe the other stuff that I like. Doesn't taste like whiskey at all. It's super sweet. So I'm not going to categorize it as a whiskey, but I guess it is. Can't even taste the alcohol. It's so sweet. But it is really good. It's like a liqueur. It's a liqueur. It's great. It's good stuff. All right, I'm happy about those two. Thanks for those lovely birthday gifts, Sarah and Tracy. Okay, let's talk about my trip real quick. I'm gonna scroll down really quick. Let me just look at a few of these. I know that. Thanks for all the welcome backs, you guys. Hang on, I'm just real quick seeing who's in. Okay. So, as many of you know, I just got back from Suriname. So I was in Suriname, which before this trip, I would have thought Suriname was in Africa. It's not. It's in South America. And it is just above Brazil. It's one of the Guyanas. So you have Guyana, Suriname, and then French Guyana. Suriname used to be called Dutch Guyana. It's a Dutch colonized country. And they changed their name to Suriname. I don't know when. I don't know why. But that's what it is now. And so that's where I was for the last couple of weeks. I went with my friend Amy Blvd. So you might hear me talk about two different Amy's with very similar names because their first names are exactly the same. And there's Amy Blvd and there's Amy Bentley, both of whom are in the chat right now. Hello to my two favorite Amy's. I know that Amy Blvd is in because I just saw Amy Bentley say hello to her, but I don't see her. She's Happy Basins on here. You may have heard me talk about Amy Blvd with Happy Basins in a video where I talked about free roaming snakes. I told her story about her free roaming snakes, but she now keeps mostly just Amazon basin tree boas, and she goes out there to find the not basins but Amazon emerald tree boas. And so she's been out a whole bunch of times. Oh, there's Amy right there. Happy Basins. There you go. So check out her Instagram, you guys, because it's amazing. Her room with her animals is incredible. But she's been out there a number of times. And, you know, there's a thing with Suriname where you can't just go to Suriname and expect to get to the jungle. You can't. I mean, that's not true because you're in the jungle. Anytime you're in Suriname, anywhere, you're basically in the jungle. But you can't expect to get to where you want to go unless you know people. And Amy has spent time making contacts. Oh, in fact, look at this. I have a little video about this. Let me see if I can get to it. Hang on. Before I explain all this stuff that you're just going to see in the video. So I have these little videos. Let's just see if this works. I haven't done this ever before. Let's just watch this little thing. It's 46 seconds. It'll explain exactly what I was just going to say. So we're in Nakiri, which is where basically our last stop before we go into the jungle. And I'm here with Amy Blvd, who has set everything up for us, basically. She's the one who has spent time here and has the contacts like Ashvin and Mark, there's a number of people that make things happen when we're here. And Amy is kind of the person who coordinates everything. And she does a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Yeah. If it weren't for Amy, there's no way I would be able to navigate things here. If it weren't for her making all the contacts and knowing everybody here, I wouldn't be able to do this. So anyway, we're going to go into the jungle now. Come with us. Hey, that seemed to work, right? Did you guys hear that and everything? Okay. So anyway, we went out there, and so here's what I can tell you. So much adventure happens, but when you take this trip, you've got to go to Paramaribo, which is the main city there. It's the capital of Suriname, and you fly in there, and then there's a couple day buffer before you get on the boat to get to where we're really going. And that's because the boat doesn't run every day, and you've got to be there early, and then on the way back you need a couple day buffer getting back to Paramaribo. So we start out for a couple days in Paramaribo. Then we take a 4-hour car ride to Nikiri, which is where you saw that video. And then we get on a boat and we take a 4-hour boat ride to Pura. Pura is jungle. It's like a neighborhood. There are cars. It's like 3,000 people. There are regular houses. I mean, a lot of dilapidated houses because it's a developing country. But it's a big. There's roads and cars and all kinds of stuff. But here, let's do this again. It's just taking me a while because since I don't do this video thing usually, it's taken me a moment to figure out what I'm doing. So here's the boat ride. I'm gonna manage. This is on the boat. There's probably 50 or 60 people on this boat with a bunch of luggage. This is how people in Apura get to the main city for supplies and stuff like that. 4-hour boat ride. Here's Amy and I on the top of the boat.
We're on the boat right now on our way to Apura. This is the Quarantine River, and Suriname is over there. That's the Suriname shoreline. And this shoreline right by Amy, point to it. That's Guyana that Amy is modeling for you right now. You excited, Amy?
Hell yeah, super excited. Woo!
I am too, but I don't really do the woos as much. But trust me, I'm excited. Dude, look at this. That's cool.
Oh yeah. Hey Bob, you're cool.
You're cool.
We're cool.
Yeah. Anyway, it's fun to be on this boat ride and be on the roof. But look down here. Was that a cool shot? I can't tell if that was a cool shot, but I'm going to show it to you regardless.
That's fun, right? So that's that boat, and then we get to Apura, and we stay in a house for a couple days in Apura. It looks like this. The little neighborhood. I was trying to talk during that video, but I got a message saying that my mic is muted during that. But it's basically, jungle and neighborhood. It's very pretty. So we're there for a couple days, and then we head out to the main jungle situation. But while we were there, I went fishing one day with Nick, who is my friend. But Nick was our cook on the trip, on the main trip into the jungle. But he also could be a guide himself. He's one of the best hunters in Apura, and so we met him the first day. Amy's already been friends with him for a long time, and he came over and he was like, "Hey, let's go fishing," and I went, "Yeah, let's go fishing." So
that's a peacock.
It's a peacock?
Yeah, that's a peacock.
Wow, beautiful.
Okay, hold it right there. No, it's okay. Bring it closer to me.
Tucanati, peacock bass. Wow. It's good fishing in Suriname. This is within 10 minutes. I've caught a peacock bass. What's the other one that I caught?
A Briken.
A Briken?
Yeah.
Wow. Beautiful.
By the way, cool thing about Suriname, everybody speaks English. They speak Dutch and English and a strange mix of languages called taki-taki. But everybody speaks English, so it's really easy to communicate with people. Speaking of fish. Well, that's right. I won't do that. Okay, we'll get back to these. Hey, is my mom in? Hi, Mom. My mom's in, you guys. That's great. I just went back to the chat and I saw everybody saying, "Hi, Mama Bledsoe." That's great. There we go. Hi, Mom. Thanks. I'm glad that Amy and I are both home as well. Amy says, Apora is the most beautiful, precious village in the world. It is amazing. The people are incredible. It's just a delightful little village. So fun. So we ended up spending, I think, 7 nights. Was it 7 nights, Amy? In the jungle. And there's lots of snake stuff. So much snake stuff. But that's going to be reserved for future videos. The first of which is coming out on Monday. Hopefully, if I can get the thing edited. I'm still going through all my footage. It's a lot. It's a lot of footage to go through and figure out which bits are for which videos and stuff like that. It's just a mess for future Bob to deal with. So, anyway, we hopped in a boat and headed down the river, another 4 hours down or up the river, I guess, deeper into the jungle for a trip. And I don't think I loaded up a ton of videos from that just because, well, here's the thing. Somebody asked me I have Patreon questions to answer here, most of which are just snake questions, but there was a Suriname question from Fizzy saying, welcome back. How was the food? What was your favorite meal? So we'll talk about the food. On this trip, we stay in a hotel in Paramaribo. We stay in a really nice guest house in Apura. But once we're deep in the jungle, we're slinging a hammock and staying in the jungle. We're sleeping in hammocks. And so we're also basically living like the hunters live when they go out hunting and whatever. So they're bringing a lot of food, but we're also eating whatever they can hunt or fish. So Nick, who had taken me fishing, was trying to get me to eat grubs on that fishing trip. We ended up traipsing through the jungle to get these little catfish that live in mud puddles in the jungle. So you'll just walk through the jungle, you'll see a mud puddle, and they'll start digging through, and they'll find these little catfish to use as bait. But while we were out there, he was trying to get me to eat grubs, and I was like, dude, I'm not eating a grub. That's where I draw the line. I can't do that. I have video of that, actually. I might put that in a video. But then on our way out, he says, he goes, Bob, is there anything you won't eat? And I said, well, I'm not going to eat bugs, but pretty much whatever you want to make me is fine. And he said, will you eat iguana? And I said, yeah, Nick, whatever you want to, whatever, it's fine. And not thinking that he was really serious about the iguana. But we get to our first camp, and I get off the boat, and I take my hammock, and I look around for a few trees. I look for like 5 minutes at trees, try to figure out what my camp thing is. And I turn around to look back at the boat, and Nick's got a massive iguana already. He's already caught an iguana. And I'm like, oh, man, I guess that's dinner. Which was not easy for me, being a reptile lover, having once kept iguanas when I was in high school. But they do call them the chickens of the tree because this is the native habitat of iguanas. We see lots of iguanas in Florida, but this is where they're from, and they are all over the place. So I can't tell you what iguana tastes like. I can tell you that the texture and consistency is similar to, I've had alligator or crocodile. What have I had? I guess it's gator when you eat that in the South. I've had that years ago, and I had rattlesnake once years ago. It's that rubbery consistency, but the reason I can't tell you what it tastes like is that the sauce that Nick made for it was so delicious that that's what it tasted like, is that amazing sauce. He said that he has learned how to cook from his mother and from Gordon Ramsay, and he does a fantastic job. I went back for seconds on the iguana, which surprised me. It was very good. So there's that. We ate that. And I'm getting message dings. I want to see if that's from Amy Bentley, who is oh, it's okay. Never mind. It's not It's nothing for me. It's the two Amy's talking to one another on a thread that I'm also on. So I'm hearing the dings. Amy Bentley, if you need to get a hold of me, text me because then I'll know it's you. Okay. For those of you who don't know, Amy Bentley is the producer here. She tells me if I miss a super chat. By the way, if you have a question that you want me to see, go ahead and super chat it, and I will see it, and I will answer it, unless it's a question that I can't answer because it's coming up in a future live stream. But that's how I'm going to see, especially on this live stream. I'm definitely not going through the chats because I have so much to cover. But I will see a super chat, and if I miss it, Amy Bentley will text me. Amy also gathered all these questions from Patreon and put them all together in different categories for me, and everything is fantastic. Really nice, because I definitely did not have time to do that today. So, all right. So iguana, paca, you can look up what paca is. It's an animal that's about this big. It's related closely to the capybara. The capybara is a rodent. And if you were to ask Clint Laidlaw what that makes a paca, I think he would tell you that it makes it a rodent also. We ate a lot of that. It tastes like pork. And they're very cute. Again, not the easiest thing to eat, but when you're in the jungle, you eat what you eat what's out there. And then we ate a lot of fish. So I'm going to show you this little video. We the fish, they just cook it right on the rock. They either Nick did a lot of like sauces, curries, and stuff like that. A lot of Indian food stuff, but also just roasting them right on the rock. So one of these clips, I think I put these clips together. So the first one is our boat driver, Kenny, who we had just stopped at this place. We went probably an hour up the river from our main camp. We stopped at this place at 8 o'clock at night, maybe something like that, but before we really started looking for snakes. And it was like the iguana situation. As soon as we get out of the boat, I turn around and Kenny's got a machete in one hand and a fish in the other. He just machete chopped a fish and brought it onto the rocks and roasted fish. The next clip, so you'll see me introducing that, showing that a little bit. But then the next clip is Nick back at camp cooking a piranha for me. So this was the first time that I ate piranha. Look at this. Here we go. Let's see. I think I put these clips together. We'll see. Maybe I didn't set it up right.
Just going down a misty river in the middle of the night in the Amazon looking for anacondas. Our boat captain, Kenny, who's a total badass, just chopped this fish with his machete, and we're going to have roast fish right now on these rocks. Right, this is one of 3 fish that Kenny machete chopped. And now we're going to roast. Which one is this? What kind of fish is this?
Wolffish.
Oh, this is a wolffish. These are tasty. Nick is cooking me up a piranha.
You wanted it.
What? I did want it. So piranhas are tasty, but they have a lot of bones.
Yeah, there's a few bones, but the way that I prepared it, you won't notice it.
I won't notice the bones?
No, only the large bones, the big bones.
Okay.
You're going to notice that. But
The small ones will be soft.
Ones, the way that I prepared it, if you look, I've carved it.
Uh-huh.
Very small, very small.
Oh my gosh.
So what happens, you actually cut the bones to very small, so you won't even notice it.
Oh, wow.
That's the way we do it.
Nice.
But you can see the piranhas.
Yeah.
There you have it.
Yeah. Those teeth.
It's very sharp.
It was really good. A lot of people told me that they don't like piranha. Like piranha doesn't taste good. In fact, there were people in Suriname who told me piranha is no good. That was super mild, buttery. There was nothing on it. You didn't add anything to it. It was just roasted right there, and that was it. And it was very good. It might have been the way it was prepared that it was that fresh. Maybe it gets gross after it sits for a while. But we had just caught that in a net, so that was cool. Speaking of piranha, Amy and I went swimming in the river every day, 2 to 3 hours a day. in the afternoon. We would spend swimming. Basically, that's where you take a bath. That's where you wash your clothes. That's where you swim and chat. We had umbrellas with us to keep the sun off of us. But it was so nice. But there are piranhas in that water. But the cool thing is that it's the black piranhas that you'd be worried about. But those are in the middle of the river. It's a very big river. They're in the middle. They don't come over to the banks where the rocks are. I think some people still would not get in that water, but Nick went swimming, so we were like, okay. And we also saw like kids swimming in the water, all kinds of stuff in Apura, so it's really not a problem. And also, our sites out in the Amazon, in this part of Suriname, not in Suriname at all, but at least this part of the waters. So it's pretty safe. We spent a lot of time in the water, except here. Look at this. It's about 6:30 p.m. and the plan was to go swimming right now. But I'm looking around, and I've done a lot of swimming in this river, and I'm not generally afraid of piranhas because they don't hang out near the shore in the rocky areas where we're swimming. But it's 6:30 at night, and it's just quiet and kind of scary to get in the water. I don't think I'm going swimming. Look, call me overly cautious about piranhas, okay? I'm fine with that. I don't think I'm going swimming tonight. So that was the only time that I said no to swimming. And Amy had fallen asleep anyway, so she wasn't going swimming. And so it was skipped. It was skipped that evening. Lots of, let's see. I think there's only one other little video to show you that I had queued up for this. So I'm just going to show it right now, and then I'll answer questions, and we'll talk a little bit more. This is one of my favorite things. The sound of howler monkeys. I thought I knew what howler monkeys sounded like. I thought that they screamed, but they don't. They sound like a ominous wind from a horror movie. You wouldn't know it's monkeys if you heard it, if you didn't know. So check this out. Isn't that nuts? It's so crazy. All right, I'm coming back to the comments. I'm getting a lot of messages, texts. Okay, none of those are for me. All right. So today, I didn't have a ton of time today, but I tried to go through and find videos. You know, those are all non-snake videos. You guys, we had so much snake adventure, more snakes than I would have ever expected. That's how good the snake situation was. I have two videos, separate videos that have to do with two separate things with regard to saving different snakes, a bunch of different species. It's pretty amazing. I will tell you that I got bit by a wild anaconda. I can say that now for the rest of my life. I've been bit by a wild anaconda. It's pretty cool. Didn't cause any damage really. It was only like a 5 or 6 foot anaconda, which is very small as anacondas go. And their teeth are not massive compared to their head or whatever. So that's that. Amy super chatted. She's going to dance. I wanted to. So Amy says, "Got to dance. Hit the like button right now, friends, so YouTube pushes the live out to more people." Erica, I'm tagging you in. That's nice. Okay, so Erica must be in. I haven't seen her, but I also haven't been looking at the chat. Hi, Erica. Let me see if any of this. Okay. So what's happening right now is my mom and dad and sister are texting back and forth, and they have me on the text thread. They're choosing right now to have a conversation that I don't know what it is, but I'm getting text notifications, and I keep thinking that I missed a super chat. But there is another super chat here. Thanks for that super chat, Amy. Have a great time at dance. I bet we'll still be on by the time you get done. Amanda, thank you for the super chat. Hi there. Woohoo, I made it to my first live stream. Welcome home, Bob. Thank you. I've thoroughly enjoyed watching all of your replays. Oh, great. Thanks. Thank you so much for all you do. Money for the Scotch Bourbon Fund. Oh, Amanda, thank you. That's really nice. That didn't even come with a question. I really appreciate that. I'm glad that you like watching the live streams. Okay. Oh, there's Erica right there. Cool. Hi, Erica. Okay. Oh, can I mute my group text? I mean, is that a thing that I can do? I don't know how to do things. Oh, you know what it is? Hang on, I'm going to tell you in a second. How do I mute it? I don't know how to mute this. Do you remember the video that just came out recently? Zachariah, he just got a new belt in his karate. If you saw the video with Zachariah and I setting up his little snake, my nephew, he just got a new belt. Zachariah earned the highest belt he could get at this time. So cool. Congratulations, little man. I bet he's not watching this, but he's a good kid. Okay. I don't know how to mute my group text, which makes me even sillier than I would have been had I at least known how to do it. I'm not worried about it, though. I can answer this question without too many spoilers. What's the biggest snake you handled over in the Amazon? That would be a Suriname red-tailed boa. Was the biggest. That was bigger than the anaconda by probably a couple feet, I would think. It was a pretty big red tail. Okay, Amy, you're still here. Congrats, Zachariah. He's amazing. That kid is super smart. He's a pretty incredible kid. I was really happy with the way that video turned out of us setting up the enclosure. He's a pretty cute kid. Okay, I'm going to start answering questions from Patreon, and then we'll just go from there. If you have a question you want me to see, super chat it. Otherwise, I'm going to stick with these until we get through them, and then we'll just go from there. Oh, you know what? I'm going to do first? Let me put Tiger Lily. I forgot that I've got this B camera set up. Watch this. Let's put Tiger Lily right here. See the new ball that my friend Cody 3D printed for me that says Green Room Pythons on it? Hey, can you go this direction? All right, I'm just piling you on top of your head. I'm sorry. Go have a little stroll. All right, while we watch Tiger Lily do that, see what she does. I'm going to answer questions. So there's a couple Suriname questions. One I already answered, and then Brody and Alaya are asking, glad you made it back in one piece. Thanks. My question would be cultural differences. Are they not fazed by the giants over there? Yeah, the can I get both of those? Oh shoot. There we go. So yeah, they don't have the like really tiny people natives. There are natives there, but they live in the towns and the cities. There's no why can't I think of the word? Like I can't think of words right now. It's a developing country, but everybody's pretty much developed there, and it's very multicultural there. The Dutch have colonized it a long time ago, so there's a lot of Dutch, Chinese, African, and Indonesian are the main ones that are there, and they've all kind of intermixed. So there's a ton of different cultures, different religions there. There doesn't seem to be a lot of racism, which is pretty interesting. Everybody just kind of gets along with everybody else. We drove past a Jewish, geez, I really can't think of words. What's a Jewish place called? Somebody tell me what a Jewish church is called. Temple? Jewish temple? Right next to a mosque. You understand what I'm saying, whether I said that right or not. The synagogue, thank you. Thank you, Scabby Knack. Appreciate that. Synagogue, right next door to a mosque. It's pretty cool. So the cultural differences is that it's just a bunch of different cultures from a bunch of different countries, and it's all intermixed, which is pretty interesting. Dang it, Tiger Lily, why do you have to get yourself all wrapped up in my mic over here? Just give me a moment, folks. This is what she was doing earlier today. She wants to climb up on top of this thing, and she's pretty good at climbing. She's actually less clumsy than a lot of ball pythons, but still she's a ball python, and she's pretty clumsy. So we're going to put her right back here, and I'm going to try to pay attention to her and talk at the same time. I went on mute, sorry. I must have done that. How long ago did I do that? I must have done that when I was dealing with Tiger Lily. Sorry about that. Anyway, what I was just saying is I'm switching to the whiskey that's the dessert whiskey, which you don't want to drink a lot of this because it's super sweet, but it's really good. It doesn't smell good. The nose on it is not tasty, but it tastes good. Sorry for the mute. All right. Okay, so she's off and moving the other direction. She's probably going to knock some stuff down. I may have to go save her, but that's all right. Where were we at? I was answering questions. Okay, so we got that. Now we're under the category of snake behavior questions because Amy put these in categories for me. This is really nice. Let's talk about snake behavior for a little bit. Sarah is asking, I know you often suggest just hanging out with a new snake rather than handling them at first. I recently got a spotted python and he's incredibly scared and defensive if I open the top of his enclosure. I just spend time near it. He often strikes at the air when I do so. Do you have any further advice in helping his anxiety? I feel bad that he's so frightened of me, but I understand I am a giant since he is just 10 grams. Oh my gosh. Spotted pythons. How cute are they, right? So my advice is to continue to do that, just hanging out there, letting him see some activity around the enclosure. You also might want to give more clutter, maybe. Like it might be a situation where he's a little bit amped up all the time if he doesn't have a ton of clutter. Make sure he's got some hiding spots so that if he's scared of some movement outside of his enclosure, he can duck into a hiding spot. You may have all that. But the other thing is, you know, I'm a giant to my biggest snake, Damara, who's, I don't know, massive. She's 9 pounds. I mean, massive for a ball python. She's 9 pounds. I'm a giant to her. But, she, you know, a snake that's a little bit bigger, a little bit older, starts to realize that not everything is going to murder them. When you're a 10-gram spotted python, my guess is that's going to take some just more time and maybe a little bit of growth. You know, they may need to just get a little bit bigger, and it just might take more time. So I would keep doing that. Make sure the snake has a lot of Thanks, Amy. Amy texted me that I'm on mute, but we got that. Okay. Oh, and Eric is saying I missed a super chat. Which one did I miss? Oh, Kristen Hop. Thanks for the super chat. Sorry I missed it. That was right after Amy's. I don't know how I missed that. What was the most scary, dangerous part about the trip? You know, I don't think there was anything that was actually scary. I thought there was going to be. I thought that there was going to be spiders that frightened me, and there wasn't. By the way, I get bit by mosquitoes more right out Amazon because we're on the water, like we're on the river, and I didn't get stung by mosquitoes hardly at all. And it might have been also because we're in the dry season. But how do I hang on? There we go. I don't think that there was really anything that actually scared me. Like there nothing bad happened. I got bit by a vine snake. I made a TikTok and an Instagram reel about that. I think I made it a YouTube short as well. But that wasn't even really scary because I didn't know what my reaction was going to be to it, but I figured at the most it would be like a bee sting. And it turns out that I had no reaction to it. But yeah, there wasn't anything scary. Okay. So I got that. All right. Thanks for the heads up on that super chat. Sometimes I miss them because I get distracted. Look at Tiger Lily. Hey, don't come back over this way, young lady. Can you stay back there, please? I'll get other snakes out here shortly. Where are we at? Okay. So we talked about the spotted python. Okay, Julia is saying our first snake was a cave potato. He was rarely out of his cave. About 3 months ago, we got our second ball python, 2 adult males. And since he moved into the same room, different enclosures, our first snake is out a lot more. Is it just luck that I happen to see him out, or is the new snake smell or some other reason making the first snake more active? Yeah, it wouldn't be that. Sometimes snakes just change their behavior as they grow. And a lot of times that behavior change is triggered by a move. So just moving, even though he's in the same cage, same enclosure, everything's the same, that enclosure moves to even the other side of the same room. That could trigger a change in their behavior. But especially moving it into a different room could trigger a change. And they'll sometimes go back and forth. So he might be, this is Dobby that you're talking about, I think. Dobby might be roaming around for a while, for like a year. He might be super active, and then all of a sudden he goes back to being a cave potato, which I love that term. So if he's out, and I think you know this, Julia, but if he's out during the day and cruising around all the time during the day, that could potentially be a problem. So that just means that he's possibly stressed. But if you're just seeing him out a little bit more, and especially in the morning and at night, that's okay. That's just him doing his thing. Hang on, I just need to fix something really quick. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm trying to do this without muting the mic again. So what I'm fixing here, dang, hang on. I'm just trying to make this where Tiger Lily doesn't destroy things. So I'm going to put her back because she's super focused on going up. And I don't want her going up right now. So we'll get put her back, and what I might do is get a couple of smaller snakes. I also want to show you a couple snakes from the newest clutch that I had, but we'll do that after I answer questions. I told you we're going long today, you guys, because we have a lot to do. Let's see what's yeah. Let's get Willow out. Look at how Willow's getting big. She's a pretty snake. Let's see what she does. All right. Next question while we watch Willow. All right, Kathy says, I know it's silly to think he knows my voice, but it seems that when I come into the room and start talking, Bucket pops his head out, rests his face on a log, and just hangs out. Why? I'd like to think that it's my charming snake personality, but I know it's silly. I would say that, hang on. Let's do this. Okay. So he can't hear your voice. So it's definitely not your voice unless you have a very deep baritone or loud bass voice. But what's more likely is that he's detecting movement. So if he's in his hide and all of a sudden you walk by and it changes the lighting, like it creates a shadow in his hide, and he knows that means that you're out, he might be coming out to see if you have food. And that's a more likely scenario. They feel vibrations. So if your floor is especially bouncy or vibrates when you walk or something, that could be it. So anything like that could trigger him coming out. But he is probably coming out because you came into the room. I've got a number of snakes that do that. And it's usually, I think, because they're hoping that you're feeding, it's not necessarily true, but that's always my guess, is that they're hoping for food, All right. Wendy asks, I have questions about yawns. They are the cutest, but do they always mean that they're adjusting their jaws? Do they yawn when they're tired? Do they have to be comfortable and relaxed to yawn? I'm going to make some guesses here. I don't think they have to be comfortable and relaxed to yawn, because sometimes they are adjusting their jaw. So you see that happen. And I don't think that's a yawn when they adjust their jaw. That's them opening their mouth. It looks the same because they're opening their mouth to adjust right after they've eaten. So you'll see that happen. But also, snakes are sleepy buggers, and they sleep 18 to 20 hours a day. We're talking about ball pythons. They sleep a lot of the day. And I always just assume that they yawn a lot because they're sleepy. And that makes sense to me. I don't think they're always adjusting their jaw, because they wouldn't need to adjust their jaw that often. I think most of the time when you see that, it's an actual yawn, because they always think it's nap time. Okay, now we have several feeding questions. So let's talk about feeding. B says, we have just recently upgraded the size of the rats we're feeding to our snakes. Does that mean that they eat less frequently? When do they go from feeding once a week to every 10 to 14 days? Should feedings ever be reduced down to only once a month by choice of the owner? And if so, why? If these snakes are opportunistic hunters in the wild. Yeah, so those are big questions. But so when you upgrade the size, that doesn't necessarily mean that you reduce that you change their feeding time to 10 to 14 days. Because you could be feeding once a week rat pups, and then you go to weaned rats. I'm still feeding once a week usually when I go to weaned rats, but you could go every 10 days if you wanted to. It's really up to you. These are your snake's not going to have any adverse health effects if you went every 10 days versus every 7 days. We just kind of, I want to say it's an arbitrary number, but it's not arbitrary, because we know what keeps our snakes healthy. And I also think that we tend to overfeed our snakes, especially if you're not breeding, if you're not trying to raise up a breeding female and you're going off of the schedule that the breeders tell you to go with, then you're overfeeding your snakes. But I usually go, I think I always just eyeball it and I don't weigh them first, but my guess is that at about 700 or 800 grams, maybe closer to 1,000, I start to think about putting them on a 2-week schedule, and I go back and forth with my breeding females. I go back and forth. When they're in the off season, they're eating every 2 weeks, and then ramping up to the breeding season, they'll go back to once a week, such like that. So it's kind of up to you. For ball pythons, I wouldn't say that you want to do a once a month feeding. If you did that, you'd want to feed them a very large meal once a month, but I don't think that's good for them. If you have an adult boa constrictor, that's a good schedule for them once a month. But for ball pythons, I wouldn't do that. I mean, I don't know that you would have adverse health effects because I don't know that I've seen it done, but I think they need to eat a little bit smaller meals and a little bit more frequently than once a month. Okay, Bill is asking, rats are way more expensive than mice. Is it really worth the price if I can get big enough mice? FDA says that they're almost identical. So he's asking, do I just give them bigger mice? They are almost identical in nutritional value. You're going to hear a lot of people say that rats are way better for snakes and mice are like giving them McDonald's cheeseburgers. That's not true. There's just a slightly different fat and protein content. So mice are healthy to give. The problem is that when your snake becomes an adult, the largest mouse that you can get is about this big. It's just maybe a little bit bigger than a weaned rat. And that is too small of a meal once your snake gets big enough. And then you're going to be looking at feeding 2 to 3 of those. And in that case, the mice, 2 to 3 mice are more expensive than one rat that's bigger than a mouse can get. So I like to get my snakes on rats just because of that. I just fed Lucille last night and she ate 2 mice. She won't take rats. So I gave her 2 mice. I don't give her 3. She does just fine with 2, but I would rather just give her a rat, even a small rat. I'd be happy if she just took a small rat, not even a medium, instead of 2 jumbo mice. But that's the way it is. Okay. Last question on feeding comes from the Harpers. Hi, Harpers. Always good to hear from you. The Harpers were one of my very first supporters. I think they were my first Patreon supporter, but they've been with me from the beginning, and they are good friends with the channel. I like them a lot. Keith and Mary Harper. Okay, here we go. Our Raymond is putting on a growth spurt, and he's become a very enthusiastic eater as of late. However, he is terrible at finding the right end of his food. He's been spending most of his time in most of his evening trying to eat a mouse backwards. Can I help him reposition it? I wouldn't worry about it. They can eat them backwards. It just takes them longer. It takes them a really long time. And if they want to figure out how to eat it right, they will. But if not, I hear from people that they have snakes who notoriously eat backwards all the time. It's no big deal. They eat backwards in the wild sometimes. The only thing that I ever am concerned about is a snake that takes a bird backwards. Like when I'm feeding the retics, I don't ever want them to try to eat a bird backwards. I think they could do it, but it's gonna make the wings come out, and that's gonna be weird. But it's never happened. It's one of the things that I think about, like, oh, that could be a problem. But it's probably not, because they would do it in the wild. So anyway, my point is, don't worry about it. No problem. Okay. We're on to general snake and reptile keeping questions. And I don't think I've missed any super chats. No. Okay. All right. So let's get to these. Do you have a method to deciding which snakes? This is from Allison. Do you have a method to deciding which snakes get display enclosures and which go in racks and tubs? So that she has 2 questions. So yes, the ball pythons generally go in tubs. There's a big debate on tubs versus enclosures. I find that ball pythons do well in tubs. I do have one ball python in a bioactive because I I set the inspector in there initially just as an experiment to see if bioactive worked for ball pythons. And so he's in there, but all my other ball pythons are in tubs. My tubs are enriched and I let them out, but in general, they like a den and they tend to do very well. So the snakes that get enclosures, I have my reticulated pythons in enclosures. They're going to get upgraded enclosures soon. I have the only snake right now that's in a tub, and I wish she wasn't, is Maya. And Maya's going to get an upgraded enclosure. That's my black-headed python. Maya's going to get an upgraded enclosure soon as well. But I let her out to roam often. I put all my other snakes away because Maya's a snake eater. And I let her roam, and she takes advantage of it. But she needs to be in a bigger cage, so she'll get one soon. And then when the reticulated pythons upgrade to their enclosure, Han currently doing fine tub that he's in, still pretty, but he'll go into their one of their cages. So that's that. Sarge, thanks for the super chat. Sarge 978. After watching all of your videos and old lives, I've got a baby female VPI pied 50% hypo. Nice. For my son's 3rd birthday. It's for your son for his 3rd birthday. I love it. A few weeks ago. And joined Patreon. Oh, cool. Welcome. I hope you're enjoying the Patreon. I just wanted to say thanks for helping make me feel confident enough to do so. Oh, that's great. Thank you. That you didn't even have a question. I appreciate that. I'm glad that the videos helped, and I'm glad that you're part of that Patreon community. That's really cool. Thanks for joining. Speaking of which, you guys, one of the things that I usually do in these lives is I do the Patreon boards, but I'm not doing them today because I just didn't have time to update them. There are a lot of new Patreon supporters. Every time I do a video, I have to take those boards and make changes, handwrite all the names and stuff like that. And I have a lot to do since I've been on the trip, which is great. Welcome to all the new people that are on Patreon. So we're not doing Patreon boards because I just haven't updated them. But I appreciate everyone that's in that community. It's such a fun group, and I love giving. I gave updates from the jungle to Patreon. I was able to shoot some videos and send them some updates from the jungle. It's pretty cool. They got to see I'm not going to explain any more than this, but they got to see a shower full of snakes. Shower room full of snakes. So that's that. Patreon.com/greenroompythons. In case you wanted to join that. They also get to be on a waiting list for. Hang on. I'm just going to show you one of the new babies. This one is just stunning. It's a little super orange dream calico. So the Patreon supporters get to be on a waiting list for snakes when they're available. There's a little. See if I can get the camera to focus on this. I don't think it's going to. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Look at that patterning. The calico isn't super high white on this one, but it's doing some crazy stuff to the back pattern. I'm trying to. Look at that cute little snake. So that's one of them. I'll show you others. I'll show you others later. All right. So there was another question from Allison. If you were ever to get a reptile other than a snake, which would be the first that you'd get? That's a great question because a lot of people ask me what other reptiles I like just which ones would I get? But you're saying what's the first one that I would get? I think, assuming that I had the space for it, because I wouldn't be able to right now because I don't have the space for it, but assuming I had the space for it, it would be a monitor lizard. And if I had a ton of space and a lot of money, it would be a Bell's Phase lace monitor. If I had less space, it might just be an Ackie monitor. I love the brains on those lizards. They're really cool. I really want to work with training one and socializing one. Pretty cool. Jennifer, thanks for the super chat and great question. Did the baby with the funky spot get figured out? Yes. In fact, I'll show you that one right now. Wheezy Vet Tech, I just saw your super chat. I'm going to get to it. I'm saying that so that I don't miss that one because it was right after. So what Jennifer's talking about is when the day before, 2 days before I left for Suriname, this new clutch hatched. This is the clutch that Freya was maternally incubating. She sat on those eggs and they all hatched under her. It was really cool to see. One of the babies came out with a black spot and he was fat on that black spot too. It's a banana baby. And I thought, oh man, I hope it's not hard belly because could be a problem and I'm leaving. So it didn't feel like hard belly at the time, but it was hard to tell. The baby was super fat right there. And so I didn't know. As it turns out, let me see. I got to figure out which one it is. Oh, I was right. As it turns out, it wasn't hard belly. It could just be a bit of paradoxing, but it's a black spot. So I have a feeling that it's going to go away. But this baby is nuts. This is banana, orange dream, possibly super orange dream, fire, pastel. That might be it. So here's the black spot. Let me try to get out of the way so it'll focus. There we go. There's a black spot on his side. It seems like it's going away. I mean, it seems like it's getting smaller, but we'll see after like the first shed or whatever. It could just be a paradox that'll be there. But the fact that it's black makes me think that it's probably going to go away. Wish the camera would focus. There we go. But this snake is nuts. The snake is pink right now, totally pink. And the last snake that I had that was totally pink was also fire. I think fire does that. When the snakes come out, if it has fire, I think it's pulling all but the pink color away. But the last snake that I had that was totally pink is one of my holdbacks from another clutch. And now he's this color. This is Max. And he is all kinds of purple and yellow and orange. I don't know if the camera does him justice, but he's so bright. And he's mine. This banana comes from Detective Inspector Rorschach, and Max's mom is Lucille, who's a pied, so he's het for pied, and that other baby's mom is Freya. So no recessive genes in the mix on that one. Okay. So good question, Jennifer. That snake is totally healthy though. And the first one to take a meal. That snake took a meal. Everybody else refused. So I am not worried about that snake at all. Okay. Wheezy Vet Tech. Thanks for the super chat. Would you have a garter snake communal enclosure? I bet you would make it look amazing with horizontal and vertical space. Yeah, it would be really cool. I don't know that I would have one. I like finding garter snakes in the wild. This is like king snakes. I love king snakes, but I love them in the wild because I have access to them and I can find them in the wild. And it's the same thing with garter snakes. But there is a thing about having, garter snakes are one of the few snake species that are social and do well in a cohab situation. So you can have a great big enclosure with a bunch of garter snakes. And that's pretty cool. I don't know. Maybe I would. Maybe I'd have something like that. Okay. So you've seen 2 snakes now from the new clutch. We're getting that. We're getting through that also as we're getting through the questions. Let's see. Okay, now we're on to Brady's. Brady says, what was your first snake that hooked you into the hobby? Also, were you the kid who would scare his mom with snakes he found outside? I was. I never scared my mom with snakes because my mom wasn't scared of snakes. But I did catch snakes and lots of salamanders. There were tons of salamanders where I grew up in Spokane, Washington. We caught frogs, salamanders, occasionally snakes. And my mom was more concerned that I wash my hands after. And rightfully so, Mom. Rightfully so. But the first, I can tell you, the first snake that hooked me into reptiles, and I said this in a recent video at Snake Discovery, is the emerald tree boa or the green tree python. I don't know which one it was because I was a kid. I believe it was on the cover of a Ranger Rick magazine, but it could have been a different magazine too. I don't remember. I was a little kid. But it was a green snake coiled up perfectly on a tree, and it was probably an emerald tree boa, but maybe it was a green tree python. I don't know. So that's it. It wasn't a snake that I owned, but I distinctly remember seeing the cover of that magazine and going, that is the coolest animal I've ever seen. I got to look into these snakes and lizards and such. Desiree is asking, what is your favorite morph / color of ball python? You know, it's hard to say. I love the freeway combos. That's a morph combo freeway. But I love just here's the thing, a clown ball python. Let's just look at a clown ball python here. This is from another clutch. Look at this clown ball python. This is a clown het pied, and clown combos. Clown is probably my favorite just because of the combos that they can make. Everything looks incredible. And just a clown, this is, visually, this is just a clown. He's 100% het pied, but visually just a clown, or she, this is a female. And they're just stunning animals. I love clown. A lot of people do. I'm one of many who would say that clown is their favorite. But the combos the clown makes is just cool. Mom, you think it was a green tree python? Could have been. You're going to have a better memory of that than me because I was very young and you were not. I mean, you were, but but you were older than however old I was. Okay. You know what? I just happened to see this question, and I think it's really important, so I'm going to answer it. Thief of Dreams is asking me, what are your thoughts on mustaches curling over the top lip and those who maintain the lip line? I have a lot of thoughts on this. My main thought is, as soon as my mustache starts to go over the top lip, which it is right now, I notice it all the time. I'm thinking about my mustache and that I have to trim it. I don't know how people can have how do you have your mustache go over your mouth? Are you kissing anyone with a mustache like that? That tells me that person is not kissing anyone. None of my business. That's okay. No judgment. But it's just a sign that individual that with a mustache all the way down is probably not kissing anyone. Am I wrong? If you have a mustache that's all the way down, are you kissing people? And do you have to do this with it before how do you handle that? I will say, that's my guess is that you would have to do that. I'll tell you that people often notice if they eat with me that when I eat, I do this. I pull my beard back when I take a bite of something. So I would think that if you have a mustache that's as long as my beard, you're going like this before you kiss someone. Maybe I'm wrong. I keep mine trimmed. Great question though. Thanks for that. Mom, no offense with the age state. It just was that you were an adult and I was a young child is all I was saying. You guys, I'm going to take a quick detour here just to say that my mom just went to summer camp, and that makes me so happy to hear her stories of going to summer camp. They have adult summer camps, and they're set up basically like, imagine what a kid's summer camp is like. Zip lines, rock climbing, arts and crafts, Mom just did that for the first time, and she's in her 70s, and she just went to summer camp and did all the things. And it makes me so happy to hear her stories. And she's going back next year and the year after. She loved it. She had a great time. It's pretty cool. I'm a big fan of summer camp. Sarge, another super chat. Thanks for that. Shout out to Mama Bledsoe. You raised a great guy. Kent's pretty okay too. Team Analog. Thanks, Sarge. That's really nice. Yeah, shout out to Mama Bledsoe and Papa Bledsoe too. He doesn't jump on the live streams, but he's probably sitting right next to Mama Bledsoe, and he did a fine job also in the raising of. I think they did a better job on my sister because she's definitely a better person than I am. But not that I'm bad. It's just that Shannon is an exceptional person. I'm like a normal. I'm a good guy. I'm a normal good guy. My sister is. She's better than a good guy. So, is it my parents' fault? Did they accept being like? I don't know. We can only speculate. All right. I'm just teasing. Okay. So I'm still on these. Sarge, thanks for that super chat. You too, Papa Bledsoe. Cheers, good sir. Thanks for that. All right. Where are we at on these questions? We got derailed talking about Mom's camp. Oh, here we go. Joy is asking, what type of cameras do you use for monitoring your snakes and making time-lapse clips? I don't make time-lapse clips. I should, though. I should set up a camera to do a time-lapse. If I did that, I would use my my DJI action cameras, which is what I'm using for this. By the way, Willow is in that hide right there. In fact, I tell you what, let's get her brother on there so we see some action. So if I was to do a time-lapse clip, I would use that camera. Here's Dash. Let's see what he's up to. He's got to wake up. But for just monitoring the room, I use SwitchBot cameras. I really like SwitchBot. There's a bunch of others that basically work the same, but I have SwitchBot everything in my house, and I like it. So hang on. There we go. So that's what I use, and I can, as long as I have Wi-Fi, there was little spots in the jungle where I got Wi-Fi, and I was able to check real time on my snakes in my house with my SwitchBot cameras. I set up 4 different ones that are pointing at different areas of the room that have snakes, and I can keep track of them all. There's Dash waking up a little bit. He's a little troublemaker. He likes to climb around and get himself into trouble. So we'll keep an eye on him. Oh my gosh, this is such a great comment. Now you have a dash cam. You guys look at the dash cam. It's really good. Well played. Okay. Claire is asking, have any of your babies ever made it to the UK? Is it even possible and safe to ship that far? No, they haven't. And yes, it is. It is possible, and you can do it safely, but it's very expensive. And usually when that happens, you're shipping extremely expensive snakes that are, either rare species or rare morphs or something like that. And you're shipping an entire crate. It's a big deal to go through all the paperwork, and a vet has to check them out maybe on both ends. I'm not sure, but anyway, it's just not something that's feasible to do, but it can be done. It's possible. Are we almost done? We're close. We're on the last page here. Chaos Keeper is asking, is driftwood okay for enrichment? If so, is there a recommended prep? And should they be removed and sanitized? Yes, driftwood is great to use as enrichment pieces, and I bake them at I think 250 for about an hour, 245, 250, something like that. You don't want to burn it, but you just bake it for an hour, and I think that's what it is. I haven't baked wood in a long time, but that's the way to do it if you find it in the wild. Joy says, do you rinse off your snakes very often? I feel the need to after they poop or pee. Yeah, I don't rinse them off. I think that stresses them out a little bit sometimes. I mean, depending on the snake. But I have chlorhexidine wipes. I just buy dry wipes that are in a bucket, and I mix up chlorhexidine and pour it in the bucket, and those wipes then become chlorhexidine wipes. And those are veterinary grade wipes. I use them when I'm spot cleaning. I pick up poop or pee or whatever with a wipe, and then I take a second wipe and wipe down the area. If a snake was sitting in it, then I pick them up and wipe them down with it, and that just gives them disinfectant. And they use chlorhexidine on wounds for animals, so it's definitely safe to do that. You can do that with F10 as well if you use F10, which I do sometimes. Okay. Christian is asking, I noticed that you use Purell before you handle each snake. I normally wash my hands and arms before and after handling. Do you believe that it's okay to use hand sanitizer instead of washing? As in, does the alcohol affect the babies from the sanitizer more than washing? So first of all, I don't always sanitize right before. It's a judgment call on how clean my hands are. I don't have any sick snakes, so I'm not worried about spreading diseases or whatever. But I do sometimes in between snakes, I'll wash my hands. And sometimes I wash and sometimes I sanitize. I think washing is better. Washing your hands is better than Purell. But like I said, it's just a judgment call. I don't do it every time. But I think it's great if that's your situation, that you every time in between snakes wash your hands. That's great. That's great to do. It's good to be safe that way. And then Christian's number 2 question. I have a 36 by 18 by 18 setup for my baby ball python. It's a glass terrarium. I'm having trouble with the perfect heat and humidity. Should I just switch to black box to make it easier? I mean, yeah. Yeah. What I would do though is, people usually are able to make a glass enclosure work, but it is harder to do because glass does not insulate very well. What I would do is probably, as long as you can get it to work, if you can figure out how to get it to work for now, just hang on to it until the snake outgrows it a bit and you're ready to switch to a 4x2x2 for their, like if that's going to be their forever cage, or a 6x2x2, even if you wanted to go really big, then get a black box. I wouldn't order a black box that's the same size as what you currently have, if you can get your heat and humidity to work for a while on that one, at least. What happened? Dash left? Okay. I'm removing the dash cam for now until he comes back. Okay. We're almost done with this. Just the questions. Then I'll get to your questions and super chats and whatever. How do you habituate a snake? This is from Darth Yoda. I think Darth Yoda is on right now, or was in the beginning of this live stream anyway. How do you habituate a snake that never comes out to play? Should I ever so gently remove the hide and scoop him up and proceed to have a session? That's what I do when I clean cages. Or just not handle them unless I'm cleaning. Yeah, you don't have to be that careful, in my opinion. I would not be waking it. I always say that I don't like to wake a snake up, but you just saw me do it with Willow and Dash. They were both in their hide asleep, and I pulled them out to put them in front of the camera. So, and they're okay. They're not going to suffer any emotional damage because of that. If I was doing that every day when they were sleeping, that's going to get really annoying for them. So yeah, I mean, I think it's fine to occasionally, maybe a couple times a week, bring them out of their hide to work with them a bit, you know. And then the other thing you can do is just, if you're able to be up late at night when they're up and moving, that's helpful as well. So yeah, just don't do it every day. The pulling them out of their hide and waking them up. That's my thought on it anyway. Ellie says, do you have any recommendations about fumigating around enclosures for insects? I would not fumigate around enclosures at all. What I do for ants is I put out Toro ant traps, and I make sure that they are not in an area that my snakes that free roam are going to get to them. Or I'll watch that corner where an ant trap is really closely to make sure no snakes are going to get over there. And then I've done cinnamon. One time I had a really bad ant infestation, and I did cinnamon around the enclosures. Ants don't like cinnamon. And so I just did that to keep the ants out while I was dealing with them with the Toro ant traps. The Toro ant traps it's a liquid. It's a little trap, and it has a liquid in it. And they take the liquid in and they bring it back to their colony, and it ends up killing the colony off. So that's how I deal with it. But I wouldn't be fumigating at all. I wouldn't use any kind of fumigation scenario. Okay. Last question, you guys. It's from Sarge, who has been giving super chats. While I think I may have figured it out, to be sure, can you explain what people mean when using numbers in ball python description? Examples: 1.0, 0.1, 1.3. Yes. For those examples, 1.0 means that the person has 1 male and 0 females. 0.1 means the person has 0 females and 1 male. And 1.3, you might be guessing it already, means 1 male, 3 females. So that's a really good question, because that confuses everybody. But first number is male, second number is female. It's used a lot for people that have, especially like a species of snake where everything looks the same. Somebody just hatched a clutch of Mexican black king snakes, and they have 3.5. So they've got 3 males, 5 females. They all look exactly the same. So what do you want, a male or a female? We'll send you one. That's when you see a lot of that. Or single morph ball pythons. I had 3.1 clown het pieds. They all basically look the same, although clown has different patterns. The head stamps are different, but 3.1 clown het pieds in that clutch. Hang on, I'm going to try to find Dash really quick. Talk amongst yourselves. Hey, buddy. I see you. I see you over here with your shenanigans. Come here. Come here. Oh, I gotcha. Hi, pal. How cool is Dash? This is just a freeway. Yellow belly and asphalt. That's all. Just a freeway with nothing else in the mix. That is an awesome combo right there, in my opinion. One of my favorites. Christian, thanks for the super chat. Christian says, thanks for the answers. I was thinking about waiting for the black box because I know Loki will outgrow his home soon enough. Then I'll probably use this one to give to my wife, Amber. She wants a corn snake. Yeah, that's perfect. That is perfect. Yeah, just wait till you're ready for that larger black box, and you'll be all set. Okay. So, what else? Oh, you want to see some other babies? These new babies? Hang on. All right. You know what, pal? Let's put you. Do you want to be in a hide? Your sister's in a hide. Why don't you be in the condo? What do you think? No? There you go. Oh, you're not seeing it. I thought you guys were seeing it. You're not. Hang on. Boom. There he goes. Okay. He's going in the hide. And I'm going to switch up my drink back to the regular peated single malt American whiskey. You can't call it Scotch unless it's made in Scotland. Okay. Where are we at here? By the way, if you guys follow my TikTok or Instagram, you'll see other content from the Amazon. I've already put some snake content up there, just random things. So there's some cool stuff if you follow one of those. I also put it on YouTube occasionally, but not everything that goes on TikTok and Instagram makes it to YouTube. So Matthew, thanks for the super chat. Welcome home, Bob. So which new baby do you think will be Montana bound soon? Matthew, I think you're up on the list here pretty soon. Hang on. Because you're on the wait list. Where's my wait list at? Let me just look at this really quick. You're six people away on this wait list. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say which one I think would be Montana bound because it may not be there by the time the list gets to you. But they're not going fast. I can tell you that. Because a lot of times people want to be on the list and they want to be on the list and then something happens where they either get their snake before I can get to them or they decide they can't do it or whatever. Or they're looking for a specific morph that didn't end up happening in that clutch. So I think you'll still have a number to choose from by the time we get to you. But let me see what else. Let's see. Let me just see what we have here. I showed you what I think are maybe two of the coolest ones. Oh, number one. So number one is really cool. But also so violent, this little snake. I've been working with her the last couple of days. She did really well. She, the first few times I handled this one, she would strike my hand while in my hand, which is not common for ball pythons to do, but just repeatedly striking me. Just really not a happy camper. So she is a super orange dream firefly. And am I right about that? Hang on. Yeah. Super orange dream firefly. Really, really bright oranges. And super clean. A lot of really cool blushing happening with her. And look at that. She's not biting me, knock on wood. Really pretty snake. I'm really happy that the inspector proved out to be firefly, not something we expected. And by the way, based on his last clutch, because everybody was inchy, we assumed he was super inchy. He's not. This clutch proved him out to be not super inchy. He is super orange dream, but there's plenty of snakes in this clutch that did not get inchy. So we just had really good inchy odds on the last clutch. Let me see. I'm getting texts. Is there something I missed? Oh, did I? Oh, I did. I missed Telecaster. Hold on. Let me find it on the... Thank you, Erica. Telecaster, thanks for the super chat. Have I missed any others? Hold on before I read that. No, it's just this one. Okay. Great. Thanks for being on top of it, Erica. Telecaster says, hey, Bob, I'm so impressed with your trip to Suriname. Thank you. I'm glad you're back safe and sound. Can't believe the massive jaw muscles and large teeth on those emerald tree boas. Yeah, right? And you're just handling them like they're corn snakes. Yeah, so this isn't really a spoiler either. We did find emerald tree boas. They do have the largest teeth of any non-venomous snake in the world. Just massive teeth. And the deal is, Amy is very good at handling them wild because that's all she wants to do is handle these snakes when she goes to the jungle, and she's been to the jungle 7 times. So watching her do what she does with the snakes, which is basically the same concept that I talk about when approaching any snake. I talk about this a lot when I catch a wild snake. It's, if you grab them by the neck, whatever, like that, like you see most people do, that's a predator. That's to the snake. That's you're attacking them. I mean, clearly that's an attack. You're probably hurting their neck. That's in their mind, you're going to murder them. Right. So if you just work with them a little bit with a hook and spend some time, spend 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe an hour for a snake that's super jumpy, eventually they realize that even though you're a big scary monkey, you're not there to murder them. And then they relax because it is a lot of energy, and it's risky for them to go on the defense like that, to attack. So if they realize that they don't have to be biting, they'll stop. Not every species. That doesn't work for Amazon tree boas, those little angry shoelaces. They will not stop biting. But for certain species, and emerald tree boas are one of them, you just work with them a little bit and they relax. And I know that in captivity, northern emeralds have the reputation for being really cantankerous. In my theory, having never kept them before, so take this with a grain of salt, but my theory is this: you've got basins and you've got northerns. The basins are a little bit bigger, and they have a reputation for being really sweet right out of the gate. Northerns, a little smaller than basins, have a reputation of being super cantankerous. My guess is that, just like any snake that we start importing from the wild, those are always pretty cantankerous. And usually the first babies, maybe the F1s, F2 babies from those wild animals tend to be pretty defensive. And so you end up with a reputation that the snake is really defensive, and you don't want to keep these because they'll just bite you. But then after a few generations of captive breeding, they start to relax, and the snake starts to get a reputation that it's not as bad as we once thought. This happens with tons of snakes that have become pets. So the northerns, my guess is that it's a lot of people that have either wild caught northerns or babies that are very close to wild caught, but also because they have that reputation, everybody says these are display animals. You shouldn't handle them at all. So most people that have them are keeping them as display animals, which is great. That's fine. The snake doesn't need to be handled. They would prefer not to be. But because they're not doing a lot of hands-on work with the animal, when they do have to handle them to clean or whatever, they're probably getting struck at because that animal was never really properly socialized. So that's my theory on it. Again, I've never kept this species. Don't listen to me. That's all I'm saying. But it's my guess. So I can tell you that the northerns that we worked with in the wild did not take long. There were some that went faster than others as far as relaxing and not feeling like they had to be defensive. But once they're at that point that they're not striking, you just hold them gently and let them do their thing. Let them feel like they're going where they want to go. If they start to turn around on you, you can either do the spin maneuver, or you can just put them on the ground. One thing that Amy taught me that is really great with these northerns is you can just distract them with something else. If they see a camera stand or a tree or something like that, and they want to get to that, they'll be distracted from trying to like focus on you, they'll go, oh, let me just go over here real quick. Or not real quick. They do it very slowly, but they start focusing on something else, which is a really cool technique. So, yeah, it was pretty amazing to work with those snakes that you don't want to take a bite from, but eventually you get to the point where you're like, I'm probably not going to take a bite from this snake. I can probably handle this animal and not take a bite. It's pretty cool. So thanks for that super chat, Telecaster. That was a long response to that one. Amy says northerns are every bit as sweet as basins. Yeah, I would say that's probably true. It might take them a little bit longer. Maybe it's, because the exporters that we talk to say that as well. They say that the basins are nicer than the northerns. But they're not working with them at all. So I would say that basins are probably, based on what I've heard, basins are probably just not defensive at all, even in the wild. It seems like. Northerns you just have to work with a little bit. An exporter is never going to spend time working with a snake. They're just trying to export them. So that's my guess. What do you think, Amy? Do you think that's the case, what I just said? Do you think that the basins might be almost tame out of the wild and the northerns just take a little bit of time? Let me know what you think. Let us know what you think. Sarge, again, with the super chat. Thanks for that. Like you, I'm a fan of formal names. I think I've settled on my girl's name. Anastasia, Annie for short, for Xanthic. Oh, that's perfect. P, Page for Pied. I like it. Slitherstein. I love it. That's great. Oh, I'm so jiggy. That get a thumbs up? Yes, it does get a thumbs up. Nice. So, Annie P. Slitherstein. I like it. It's a great name. Perfect. I enjoy a good three name situation for a pet. Joyce is how posh. It's pretty posh. Let me get another snake out. I got two snakes and hides right now. I'm showing you nothing on this other screen because I got two snakes hiding. Any requests for snakes? Anybody want to see anyone in particular? I can tell you that, Echo's out right now. Let's see if Echo wants to come out. She just ate a bird last night. And what that means is not that she's satiated so she won't be biting. That means that she's now looking for birds. And she's really hoping that she finds something. So, as always, when Echo's out, good chance that I'm going to get bit. So let's just see what she does. All right, we've got requests for the Sundance Kid, Handsome Dan, Anya. Okay, great. Let's see. Are they available? Handsome Dan is. Kid is in shed. Sundance Kid's in shed, so I'm going to leave him alone. Anya just ate. No, she's okay. She ate a fairly small meal last night. So we could do that. Let's just see what. In fact, look at this, you guys. I almost forgot about this. Hang on. It's going to take me a second. Let's see if this works. Boom. Look at that camera. I wish it was a little bit closer. I want to make an adjustment as to the location of the camera. I can't right now because it's kind of permanently affixed. But now we have two. I can't easily switch back and forth between these two cameras. Hi, you guys. I can't easily switch back and forth between these two cameras, but I think it's pretty cool that I've got two action cameras on these two snake stations. So there goes Echo. Echo likes to, she's usually pretty active, but if she does chill, she likes to chill in this log. I got this log at the silent US auction in Pomona last time, and Echo loves to. She'll sit in there all day if she decides that she's just going to sit and chill. That's her spot. Hey, that's me. That's not food. You relax. You see her coming down. She's got these big eyes. I don't like that at all. You relax, young lady. Okay, let's get. Okay. Now I can watch her. Usually I can't watch. Stay away from me. Usually I can't watch what's going on behind me while I'm on these. But she was due to eat yesterday, and the day before she was just like tongue flicking on my arm, no problem, and bit my shirt. And it wasn't like I didn't even see it coming. So she was all about grabbing anything with a heat signature, which is what Echo does sometimes. Joy, I'm showing off this comment that you're making right now because that is not nice. Hey, crazy girl, you relax. See this? It's just me. It's not food. Oh, you know what, though? How about this? How about this hook? What if we do this? This is a big hook. This is my herping hook, but it works well for reaching these snakes sometimes. There you go. All right. I don't need her tongue flicking the back of my neck while I'm trying to do a live stream. Okay. Oh, okay. So, what did we say? Handsome Dan is available, I think. Hang on. Talk amongst yourselves. I know you already are. Hey, buddy. You're so easy right now. So easy to grab this guy because just hanging out in his favorite spot, his ball. Super easy to grab. Old handsome Dan. He gave me a shed right after I got back. He's looking good. He spends a lot of time on top of his rack. So he's in a tub on a rack. He's got plenty of room in there, but he comes out often. You know, any snake that I see spending time at the front of their tub and they're awake, they have the option of coming out, and Handsome Dan often is, especially in the morning in the front. And so I just open his tub and I let him come out on his own, and he goes to the top of the rack and he'll hang out all day if I let him. He's a good boy. It's cool. It was cool to work with some boa constrictors, you know, different species. This is a boa imperator or boa imperator, however you want to say it, but very closely related to the red-tail boa, which is what's in Suriname. This is a much smaller species. Handsome Dan is a dwarf locality from Central America. But it was cool to work with some wild red-tail boas in Suriname and then come back and have this little guy who's very close to that. He's a handsome boy, and he's very nice. The other thing is these Central American localities have a reputation also for being pretty cantankerous. And Handsome Dan has been worked with a lot, and he is not cantankerous at all. He's a good guy. He doesn't choose to crawl out onto my hand. He loves to hang out and tongue flick all over my hand and arm, but without touching me at all. Like, he doesn't want to touch, but he does want to, like, he never pulls away from me, really. He is super curious and wants to tongue flick. But if I want him with me, I've got I got to pull him out. But not defensive at all. Just, he'd rather do his own thing. And I understand that. I totally understand him wanting to do his own thing. All right. I'm going to put him back so he can hang out in his ball in his tub. There you go, little man. You're back. You all can hear me? Okay. Pumpkin Pats, maybe your volume went down or something. But I don't blame you for thinking it's my fault because I've been muted twice now on this live stream. Dakota, thanks for the super chat. Got one of those balls for my Central American. Oh, one of those. Those are called Holy Roller Balls. They're a dog toy for anyone wondering. You can get them on Amazon or pet stores or whatever. Have it on my dowel rod. Oh, that's a cool idea. She was having fun till her weight shifted and she went for a spin. Oh no. Yeah, so that's the problem with Holy Roller Balls, in my opinion, is not even my opinion. It is a problem in the snake's opinion, because when I'll put those in the playpen with the babies and they like to crawl on them, but it moves them. So as soon as it moves, it scares the snake, and that's problematic. So that's why I have this one that Echo's on right now. That's a 3D printed ball, and it's glued to the top of a hide. The other 3D printed ball that I had on the other camera view that you saw is bigger. That one's designed for the super dwarves. As they get bigger, they should be able to crawl through that pretty much all the time. Whereas a larger snake will get stuck in this one. But those are set on the ground. And actually that other one that Cody just printed for me. In fact, here, let me just show you how cool this one is. Because it's got my logo on it. Look at that. Pretty cool. So this has much bigger holes, and the super dwarves should be able to fit through this. And a juvenile ball python should be able to fit through this just fine. The smaller holes, not a super big fat ball python, but one that's maybe a year or two old. So this also mounts on a wall. So that's gonna go on a wall eventually. I just haven't figured out exactly where I want to mount it. It's pretty cool though. I like it. That is, that's from Cody at the 3D printing department. He's the one who 3D printed the inspector's temple, and he 3D printed the gargoyle building that I had in my snake discovery build. He does cool stuff. Okay, thanks for that super chat, Dakota. So Joy, the 3D printing department, I think you can just Google it and you'll find it. I can tell you that these are custom and they're not cheap. So if anybody wants to order something from Cody, just remember that anything you're ordering gets custom designed. Even though he's designed that one already, it's still, that took a day on his printer, an entire day to print that. So it's not like if you found something at a pet store. They're pretty expensive compared to what you get at pet stores. But if it's worth it to you to have a cool custom 3D printed thing, it's pretty cool. I like it. Sarge again with the super chat. Sarge, you are the super chat winner of this live stream. But I recommend that anyone else try to beat Sarge at the super chats if you'd like. Often when handling Annie, be it out in front of me or on my lap, she'll reach out straight toward our faces. While not concerning, I'm curious why. Breath heat? Yes. Learning our scents? Probably not. Both? Neither. It's breath heat. That's it's always a guess, right? But we expel heat, and there's also way more scent particles coming from our breath. And usually when you have a snake do that, they're not coming to you towards your cheek or your forehead or your eye. They're coming straight to your mouth. So that's why I say that I think it's probably almost always breath heat. But yeah, it's a pretty common thing. There's a lot of people that find that for their snakes. If you wear glasses, they'll come straight for your eyes because they're seeing something that they can perch on. So sometimes they'll skip the breath heat and just go for the glasses and pull those off your face because they think that they can climb up on that and get higher, which is fun. Alex bought a 3D printed Pokeball humid hide. That's kind of cool. It was $40. So 3D printed items are always a little bit pricey. Yeah. I would say that ball is more than $40, I think. I'm guessing that one that size that takes all day to print would probably be around 75 is my guess, but I'm not sure. Okay. Where was I? Oh, so I got Handsome Dan, but I put him back because he's just in that ball. Is there any other snakes that anybody wants to see? Anya. Right. Thanks, Nicole. Got it. All right, let's bring out Anya. Anya's getting so big, you guys. Let's see. I think BRH constrictors. This is a conversation that you're having for someone that I accidentally clicked on. Kata. People are asking for Kata. Kata is in with her boyfriend right now, so she is unavailable. Sorry about that. But Anya is around. Hang on. Hey. What's this girl up to, huh? What's Anya up to? Anya is growing fast. And really, axanthic ball pythons brown out as they get bigger. So she is getting some brown, but still her colors are so pretty. This contrast, it's the pastel. Pastel and axanthic work really nicely together. I don't like pastel with every combo necessarily. It doesn't do good things with everything, but it certainly does with axanthic. And this is an exceptional snake with regard to her personality as well, which is the most important thing for me in a snake. I mean, obviously, when I breed them, I'm breeding for the morphs. But for me, in keeping snakes, the morph is secondary to what that snake is like and what their personality is. And she just has been a delightful snake from day one. She came from Gray family snakes, and she's Kent's snake. She's not mine. Doesn't belong to me. Belongs to Kent. Has Kent ever touched her? No, he hasn't. All right. Let's put that back there. Let's switch. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? We got Echo going into a hide. Let's just look and see what Echo's up to really quick. And then I'm going to switch to the other camera. All right. She's just going to hang out. So let's go to this one. And let's see what Anya wants to do on here. There we go. This is This counter is kind of a morning thing. Oh, by the way, you see the gray gargoyle right there? Cody 3D printed that. This was a test gargoyle from the snake discovery build off. Isn't that cool? This was just a tester that he brought over really quick. The one that ended up in the actual enclosure is smaller than this, but it's cool that I got to keep that gargoyle. Anyway, this counter is usually a morning situation. These snakes are up and moving around in the morning. I'm up and moving around in the morning. I wake up very early, usually 5 a.m., but sometimes 3 or 4 a.m. And I'll get all of them started quickly. That's the first thing I'm doing, is pulling out snakes and letting them roam, especially if they're smaller. Like Anya's not full grown. I don't let her free roam all over the house. But the bigger snakes that I let free roam wherever they want to be. When I say all over the house, I mean all over this room. So the bigger snakes like Kata or Freya or Damara that can go wherever they want, I just open their tub and let them out whenever I happen to see them. So Anya is going in with Willow right now. We'll see if either one of them come right back out or if they choose to curl up together. There's an interesting thing that I've noticed with Ash, brother and sister, and are roaming together. So they know each other well, because usually if I bring one out, I'll bring the other one out also. And I noticed the last few times that they've been out that they follow one another. It's usually Dash following Willow, but it seems to be kind of social behavior. He's following where she's going. He is not sexually mature yet, but he's probably is close to that. But Willow's not at all, so it wouldn't be that. I don't think, because she wouldn't be giving off any pheromones, and he's probably too small to know what to do with those pheromones anyway. But he just kind of tags along wherever she ends up going. He follows, which I think is interesting. I don't know exactly what to make of it. Joy, thanks for the super chat. Any fun plans to celebrate 50,000 subscribers? There should be. It'll be here before you know it. Let's get the likes up, you guys. Yeah, thanks. And the subscribes. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Yeah, thanks. We are close to 50,000 subscribers. Maybe we're 3,000 away from it or something like that. I don't have any plans yet, but I think I should, right? There should be something that we come up with. Let me know if you have any suggestions. Maybe we have talked about, Amy Bentley wants me to do this. She wants me to do a 24-hour live stream, which seems nuts. But I thought about doing this as a US ARC fundraiser. So like any super chats or whatever, go to US ARC. I don't know how to set that up. I know there's a way to set that up to where it's not like the money's going to me and then I'm writing a check to US ARC. There's some way to set it up to where you literally use super chat and that actually goes to US ARC. So that's the only way that I want to do it, because I don't want to have to deal with the accounting portion of that. But maybe that's a 50,000 subscriber thing to do. I don't know. What do you guys think of that? Sarge, again with a super chat. Thanks, Sarge. You're very generous. Annie is a sweetheart, too. I've noticed trends, people saying their certain morph is more feisty than others, probably coincidental. But could there be something to morph personality correlations like dog breed almost? Yes, there could be. I don't know that there is in ball pythons. I haven't seen anything that convinces me that there are personality shifts in ball pythons with certain morphs. There are some people that say that pieds don't eat as well. I don't know that that's true necessarily. I've seen plenty of pieds that eat just fine. But in retic, a pied retic, their personality is way spicier than than a non-pied retic. So, and that could be that those were found in the wild, and they're a more recent addition. And it might be that those retics are closer to wild, and so they're a little bit more cantankerous. So that's possible. And I think that, you know, a morph is something that is a gene that changes the look of your snake, whether it's pattern or color or whatever. But there could be other things that are attached to that gene that do other things to the snake, you know. So I think there definitely could be morphs that change personalities slightly. I just haven't seen it enough in ball pythons to be able to say, oh yeah, that morph definitely means this, you know. Thanks, Mom. You confirmed it. I'm at 47,000. So we're 3,000 away from 50K. Matthew, this is very nice. How are you not at 100K yet? That's very nice. The channel's only 3 years old though, and that's why it just it takes a while. But you know what? I'm really happy with this channel. Has seen some very steady growth, and then there was a big bump of growth in the last month and a half, something like that. A lot of it had to do with the snake discovery appearance. There are a lot of people from snake discovery. If you're watching the live stream right now and you found me from snake discovery, put it in the chat. I'm curious if any of those folks are in the live stream. Usually it takes a while for people to watch the channel, go through my videos, and then understand how the live streams work, that they happen once a month, and you kind of have to follow the community posts or my Instagram post or whatever when I announce the live stream. So I don't know that many of those folks will be on here, but maybe they will. Mom, you think I should come to North Idaho to celebrate? It's a good idea. You know what? I am going to see you next month, though, for Justin's wedding. My son is getting married, you guys. My son Justin is getting married, and I'm going to be in Seattle for that. Let's see. Okay, what are we at? So Anya is just boring. Sorry, she just went into a hide. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to switch cameras, and we're going to put these snakes away that are in hides, and maybe we're going to start with. There's Mom explaining. Justin's twin Ryan is already married. That's right. Ryan is married. Justin's getting married, both to wonderful ladies. We're very happy with their choices of spouses. Okay, hold on. What if I go like this? Come on. There we go. Okay, let's take this tree. Just go through this process real quick. Grabbing Dash. We'll put him away because he clearly is not into hanging out right now. And then poor Willow, she's just getting piled on by a snake that's more than twice her size. We'll put Anya back. But, you know, the thing is, if Willow was bothered by this, she would have left. You know, if it really was uncomfortable for her, she would have just crawled away. Snakes know what they prefer. And if something's bothering them, they are happy to leave the area. So I don't think she was too bothered. Okay, good enough. All right. Look at how pretty Willow is before I put her back. This, you know, the super bright paradox compared to the rest of her body, which almost looks hypo, I've talked about this before, but it's more pronounced. She's not in shed right now. This is just what she looks like. Isn't that crazy? It's as she's getting older, this is the sort of hypo look to her is getting even more so. And her head and neck are bright, and these little spots of paradox are bright, but everything else is not. She's just a very interesting looking freeway combo. So she's a Orange Dream freeway spot. Orange Dream spot nose. We were thinking Enchy, but not. She's not Enchy. Orange Dream spot nose. Maybe something else I can't remember. Freeway. With paradoxing. With weird paradoxing. Okay, Echo is noticing activity. Amy Bentley's back. She was saying thanks to Erica because Erica said, welcome back. I'm just giving you some context here in these talk amongst yourselves situations. I love this about these live streams that you guys jump in the chat and you're talking to one another, you're answering each other's questions, you're having great conversations, and that makes for a fun live stream. Erica, that's a big compliment. Willow gives Tiger Lily a run for her money because I know what a fan you are of Tiger Lily. So, but yeah, I agree with you. Willow is ridiculous looking. She just is so cool. Such a unique snake. Okay. Where are we at? Oh, I was showing you guys. I'm just trying to. Oh, you know what? Let me look at my notes. Let me see if there's anything that I missed on my notes, and then we're gonna get back to. I'm gonna show you a couple more of the new babies. Yeah. Amy, I'm not starting over just to fill you in on what you missed because you were at dance. Hope you had a nice time at dance, though. Because you're going to watch this tomorrow anyway. Okay. So here, since Amy's back, I will make this announcement here. I won't keep this one a secret because my last trip to the Amazon, I told Patreon very early, and then I kept it a secret from everybody else for a very long time. But I will say I'm going back to the Amazon in March, and guess what? I'm taking Amy Bentley with me. I'm not taking her with me. She's coming with me, though. You're saying please on what did you miss? You didn't miss that. I just made that announcement right there because you're there. Amy's coming with me to the Amazon. We're going in the wet season. So I decided before my trip was over, I'm coming back during the rainy season because it's going to be the river is going to be totally different. There's going to be different animals. By the way, we saw a jaguar. Did I tell you that? We saw a jaguar, you guys. Mom, yeah, that's right, Mom. I hadn't told you that Amy's coming with because we were trying to work out we've been working out the details the last couple of days. And it was, I think, Mom, when I told you that I was going back, I think I was saying February, but we're making it March. So it's going to be during the rainy season. And the way the seasons work there is there's a short rainy season and a long rainy season. So we're going back during the short rainy season. And as long as the weather isn't weird, It should be raining quite a bit during the day, but then the sun comes out quite a bit during the day also, and will dry all your clothes. Versus if we were in the long rainy season, it just rains 24 hours, and I don't want to be there during relentless rain. But there are different animals out during the rainy and the dry season. There's way more snakes. I mean, we found tons of snakes, but we're going to find even more in March. So I'm really excited to be able to go back quickly, so that, you know, like, I don't want to wait 2 years and then go back during the wet season, because I want my trip to be fresh in my mind so I can see the comparison of the two. I really want to have that experience. So I'm excited about that. Amy's going. Somebody else is going that I don't want to mention because they might want to make their announcement to their fans on their own. So, but I talked somebody else into going. It's going to be a fun trip. Jennifer has a very good point and a great super chat. Thanks for that. I don't know if double Amy awesomeness will fit in that little boat. That's the thing. These are my two favorite Amy's. I say this a lot. I love Amy Bentley and I love Amy Benzie, and we're all going to be in a boat together, and I'm really excited about that. It's going to be great. So that's that situation. I've made that announcement. Oh, so the Jaguar, I should have had that video queued, but I didn't, but I have it on my Facebook page. But it's going to be, I'm going to cut it into one of my future videos anyway, because it was awesome. You know, there are people that go to the Amazon just to try to find a Jaguar. Like, that's their goal in traveling to the Amazon, and they don't see one because they're elusive and they're hard to find. During the dry season, they're easier to find, and they're more abundant, at least near the water. They're around regardless. It's not like they die during the wet season and then are born again during the dry, but they're just out and near the water more during the dry season. And so it was 3:00 in the morning. We were basically done looking for snakes. We look for snakes all night long from a boat. This is arboreal herping. It's much easier than terrestrial herping because we do it from a boat. So we're on this boat. We're going really slow, still looking for snakes, but heading back to the camp. And Mark, who's our snake spotter, Mark is I go over this in a future video, but it's not too much of a spoiler. Mark is a ex-hunter trapper turned environmentalist, and he's our guide on these trips, and he's fantastic at finding snakes. But he thought he saw a deer, and so we flipped the boat around and pulled in really slowly, and it wasn't the eyes of a deer, it was the eyes of a jaguar. So a lot of times when you see a jaguar, from what I understand, because I'd never seen one before, people are seeing it run. They're seeing its butt, like its tail, and they're like, "Oh, I saw a jaguar," and they saw its tail go into a bush. But this one was by the water, and it turned around to leave. So Mark and Kenny, who's driving the boat, Kenny, who's also a good hunter, but he was hired as our boat driver on this one. They start making noises like a injured animal, and that turned the cat around, and the jaguar started coming up to us and gave us the greatest shot of his face. It was a young one, probably, like, still big, but you could see the youthfulness in its face. Super cute. It was an amazing spotting. Really cool. And we got it on video. So we got it on video because Amy Benzie had my camera, and she has a vest with 47 pockets in it. And so she's holding my camera, and she just she knew how to whip it out really fast and turn it on, because she was doing it for me anyway to film me. I want to say she's almost as good as Kent as a camera person. But she whipped that thing out and quickly got a video of the jaguar. It was perfect. Sarge, who's jumping in again with a super chat. Thanks, Sarge. Jaguars see people way more than people see them. That's right. They absolutely do. And you know what? The thing about jaguars, you don't want to be attacked by a jaguar. They go for the skull. They're skull-crushing cats, which is absolutely terrifying. But they're amazing, and really cool to see. And we didn't feel threatened at all because we were watching this animal from a boat. So, you know, we were pretty close to it, but we were on a boat, so we felt like we were doing okay. Not frightened at all. I think I would be, though. Like if I encountered a jaguar on the trail and he didn't run off right away, I'd be real nervous. More nervous than there are mountain lions, there are cougars that live. I want to say mountain lion because I know what you guys are thinking when I say cougars, because this is true also. There are cougars and mountain lions that live in the Hollywood Hills. And when you see one of those, it's scary because they could attack you. They probably won't, but they could. I haven't seen one. There's only a couple of them, and they're tracked. They wear tracking collars. I would be more frightened of a jaguar, though, I think. What else did we see? Warrior 69 Fox made it to the first live stream. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for the super chat. That's great. I love when first time people jump in the live streams. These live streams get bigger each time. We are 2 hours and 17 minutes into this, and we're currently at 122 viewers. I remember recently when it was like a big celebration if we got to 100. This is the lowest, as far as I've noticed, this is the lowest viewership that we've had the whole time. It's been in the 130s, 140s most of the time. And I can understand it's 2 hours and 17 minutes in that it's starting to get lower because we're going so long with this live stream. But that's still, and look, somebody else just joined. Now it's 123. So thanks to whoever just joined right then. That's still really good viewership. I mean, it's great. So I appreciate those of you that are new jumping into the live stream, and I appreciate all of you who have been in this the whole time that are watching, and those of you who are watching later that are cleaning out your snake rooms or doing whatever you're doing, and you're just listening to this. I appreciate that. And maybe you're looking occasionally because Echo, who's right there and just waiting for me to get close enough, might strike me. You want to be watching for that. Oh, we got all these people, first timers. Miss Maggie, welcome. I'm glad you caught it too. Jasmine Parker, probably first timer also. Love watching your videos on Reptile Mom. Love learning lots. Oh, that's great. Thanks for being here, you guys. That's awesome. Erica, thanks for reminding everybody to hit the like button. That's nice. It helps to push this out to more people. And YouTube does it right away. Like when we're in the lives, if there's a bunch of likes, YouTube goes, ooh, let me just share this really quick. The robot, whatever the robot is that runs the YouTube algorithm, that's who does that. Joseph, this is a great question. So this is actually live. Like I'm sitting in the presence of Bob and he's sitting in his California mansion. Yes, that is all very accurate. This is Now Times Live, and I'm definitely in my mansion. This is the south wing of the mansion. If you go just several feet behind the camera, you'll be in the north wing of the mansion. Right here where this I have a baby rack right here. This is the west wing of the mansion. I had to figure that out. Amy, you don't have to laugh so hard at that. You've been to my house. That's not nice that you laugh so hard at the word mansion. This is a very small place, you guys. I have a very small. I am, except for my snakes, I'm pretty minimalistic. I don't have a lot of stuff. And so I'm happy living in a smaller place, but I do have a lot of snakes. And I tell people a lot of times that my house is basically a snake room that I also live in. It's a snake house that I also live in. Amanda is leaving us with the super chat. Thanks for the super chat, Amanda. I'm going to finish this here shortly too. Amanda says, unfortunately, I have to get up for work at 3:30. Oh my gosh, that's so early. I've got like 6 hours to sleep. Good night, everybody. Thanks for being so kind. Good night, Amanda. Thanks for that super chat, and thanks for being here as long as you could. Go get those 6 hours of sleep. That reminds me, one of the things on this trip, I wasn't worried about jet lag, but because we hunt all night, finding times to sleep is tricky, and you just don't get enough sleep. So I probably slept an average of maybe 2 hours during the times that it was dark, and maybe 3 to 4 hours mid-afternoon sleeping in the cot. And that's it. And I require a lot more sleep than that. And sometimes Amy Benzie and I would get out of the boat at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning when we were done looking for snakes. And I've been drinking coffee the whole time in the boat. And I don't think she was drinking coffee, but she wouldn't be tired. So we would just lay down on those rocks and talk until the sun came up. So we would purposefully miss our precious sleep time. But that was great times. We had some good chats. Sarge, thanks again for his super chat. You were awesome. A mansion in Cougar Hills with fully stocked snake room. Some guys have all the luck. That's right. That's right. I'm at an age though where I don't think a cougar is interested in me. Well, maybe a cougar that's 80 years old. That's enough of that. Okay. Brad Anthony, congrats on your new snake. That's great. I'm glad that the videos were helpful. All right. I keep getting distracted. I want to show you guys a couple other of the new babies. Let's just randomly. Oh, you already saw that one. Oh, let me show you the other banana. I got 2 bananas only in this clutch, which means that I have 2 male ball pythons and the rest are females. Here's the other banana. This one has more, the first one that I showed you, if you were here earlier in the live stream, I showed you one that was just strawberry colored because it has fire in it. This one does not have fire. So we got some more colors. We got some more yellows and oranges and such in this one. A little beauty. This is a super orange dream pastel. Yeah. What else? Anything else? That might be it. Let me see. I don't ever remember what these are. Yeah, super orange dream. Banana, obviously, but super orange dream pastel banana. You can't. I don't think the camera's picking it up, at least from my view. But the rings on the top of his spine have the brightest orange coming through, which is so cool. Really pretty snake. Those are the only 2 bananas. Wheezy, thanks for the super chat. Do you have a set schedule for live streams? I do, in that the way this works, look at Echo hunting me right now. The way this works is that I do 3 produced videos and then a live stream. The produced videos come out every Monday, but the week that I do the live stream, I do it on Tuesday. I don't know why. Oh, I know why I had that schedule. I was teaching a lot of music, and I still do teach music occasionally. I still have a few students, but not nearly as much as I had before. And that's just how it worked with my teaching schedule at the time. So, and I've always just stuck with it that we do the live streams on Tuesdays. But that might change. Amy, you did not miss Kata because Kata is in with Ron right now. So we're not disturbing them. And I did not bring Maya out, mainly because the light stand is in the way of her enclosure. but I guess I could bring Maya out. Echo's doing okay. She's pretty far away from me. So, is there any other... Let me see. Let me just see if any of these... Hold on a second. Oh, you're awake. Evie, what are you doing? Come here. Evie doesn't get enough camera time on green room pythons. And that's partially because she was a really bad eater for a long time. So I didn't want to mess with her too much because I was just trying to get her to eat food. But look how big she is now. She's a vanilla het sunset. And she is, I think, over 1,500 grams at this point. I'm going to start pairing her with the Sundance Kid at the end of the year, you know. But she now eats every meal that I offer her. So she's getting big fast. And very, very sweet snake too. Even though she spent a long time not being handled very much, she's always remained a very, very docile, no problem snake. I like her a lot. She's got a great personality. Jen is asking, is Sundance Kid Sunset too? Yes, he is Cinnamon Het Sunset Het Clown, which is pretty cool. So hopefully we'll get some visual sunsets out of that pairing, and they'll be possibly Het Clown, but we won't know. We got some super chats. Lindsay, thanks for the super chat. Do you go to any of the NARBC shows? I hope to next year. I haven't yet. And I was actually planning on going to Tinley in October, but I have 2 other trips to take in October. One of them to Justin's wedding, which we talked about, and the other one to Clint's reptile room, because he's got a grand opening for his reptile room, and I will be there along with a bunch of other creators. So if you're in that area, come say hi. Brad, thanks for the super chat. How many donos to meet Kent tonight? I'm joking. This amount of money is nothing compared to the invaluable information you put out on YouTube for free. Oh, that's so nice, Brad. I appreciate that. That's really nice. Kent has shown up in some live streams, but only a couple. He's usually not around for a live stream situation. But thanks for that super chat and those kind words. That's really nice. I appreciate that. So Evie is a really pretty lady, and she's she's vanilla. That's very close to a normal. And I gotta say, there's a lot of people that say that they love normal ball pythons, and I gotta say I agree, because here's a snake that is going to Natalie. I don't know if Natalie's on right now, but this is a 100% het pied, 100% het clown. There's some normal influence, some het influence in this normal, but look how pretty. Look at the white coming up on this snake. Hold on, let's see if it'll focus. Come on, camera, focus. Dang it, hang on. There we go. That's essentially a normal ball python with a little bit of maybe het influence, but super pretty. And also, wow, she's doing so well, because this was a snake who, when she first came out of the egg, wanted to be violent with everyone. And even though I've been out of town a lot, I've worked with her enough that she's now relaxed. And Evie is heavy enough to ruin my hat. She's a big girl. I'm very proud of her, though, because she went over a year where she didn't have many meals at all. I think I've talked about this recently. I may have talked about it in the last live stream, in fact. Just checking on Echo up there. She's here. I'll show you where she is. Since we can. Look at this. Boom. There's Echo. She's just going to hang out there. And the thing with bringing the super dwarfs out at night, especially Echo, is that they're usually not out at night, and they usually get fed at night. So it's kind of an extra added problem to have them out. Speaking of a problem, Evie is a little bit too big to be crawling on my hat. Just give me one moment here as I get my hat band free. All right. Oh, dang it. Dude, seriously? Okay. All right. Hey, you're more of a lap snake than a hat snake. You know that? Look what you did. You made my hat look sad. Now I look like I'm sad, and I look like Paddington Bear with this hat now. Lori Weiser, I appreciate you. Thanks for your super chat. Hi, Bob. I can't make it, but I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you so much. Are you still in Colorado right now visiting your daughter, or are you back in Florida? Also, it was nice chatting with you the other day. Thanks for that super chat. You guys want to see Lori's snake? Wait till you see Lori's snake. Hang on. Okay, bye, Evie. I'm putting you back. Say goodbye to Evie because you got to see this ridiculously cool snake that Lori's getting once it has enough meals. Well, hello there, little one. I see you. I see you. You're awake and on alert. I can tell. This, ladies and gentlemen, is, hang on. This is the clown-pied ball python. How cool is that? Such a pretty little girl. Love the head stamp. Every head stamp is different in these clowns and clown pieds have very different head stamps. But they all look, I mean, they all have kind of a similar look, but the specific pattern is different. And I love the one. I love this one. And the neck pattern on this one. So cool. So cool. Another snake that loved to choose violence for a while, but she's getting much better. She's getting much better. But she is always very offended when I offer her a meal. And she likes to repeatedly strike defensively at her meals instead of eating her meals. So, so it's taken her a little bit longer, but she'll get there. She'll get it figured out. That pretty lady is going to go live with Lori Weiser when she's ready. Yeah, that, you guys, as clown pieds go, that one is a stunner. I mean, they're all super cool looking. My holdback is super cool looking, but that one I just wanted to hold back a male, and she happened to be a female. So the cool thing is with a snake like that, I'm very close with Lori, so I know that I'll get updates and I'll get to watch that snake grow, which is cool. Here's a text. It just came in from Lori saying, "Thank you, Bob. She is gorgeous." She is gorgeous. You're right. I'm glad that you're getting her. You guys, we have to end this live stream at some point. I have gone 3 hours before the live stream. We're at 2 hours and 2:30. We're at 2:36 right now. Oh shoot, I don't need that much. Jeez, that's a lot. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm gonna, after the live stream's over, I'm going to take my funnel and pour this back. That is way too much whiskey. But since I'm the only one drinking out of that bottle, I don't mind pouring it back. Joy, drink it all. If I was spending a lot of time drinking tonight, I would drink all that over the course of a couple hours, and it would be no problem. But I don't want to drink that much tonight. That is not what I'm trying to do. Jennifer, oh no, whatever. What do we do with all that whiskey? I will drink some of it and I will pour the rest back. Ash, I'm not going to chug it. Not going to chug it. Amy, same thing. You all are so irresponsible. Unbelievable. This is Matthew's actually bringing up something that's really annoying to me because I buy good whiskey. I buy good scotches, and occasionally I'll have somebody come over that wants to try one of my scotches, and it's not cheap. They're not cheap, and so I'll offer somebody. I don't usually do a full pour because it's still just a taste, but I'll offer somebody some whiskey, and before I can tell them to just sip it, it's already down the hatch, as though I offered them Jack Daniels or something. And obviously they hate it because that's not a good way to drink whiskey. You can't, like, it just tastes like hairspray when you just shoot it like that. So it's just a waste. It's a waste of whiskey. It's my big problem with sharing my whiskey with non-whiskey drinkers. Mom says your mother is still in the house watching you. I know, Mom. I'm telling you, I'm pouring half of it back. Don't even worry. B. Arthur update. Taylor, you did miss the Dan update. I pulled him out earlier. He's doing great. Let's see, B. Arthur. She took look, is she a year old yet? I should look at her thing. She's this big, and she's doing all right, but she still doesn't eat on her own. And it's, hang on, obviously frustrating and a little worrisome. You know, she definitely can eat. She has no problem eating once I put it in her mouth, but she doesn't eat on her own. She strikes. She does both things. She strikes and she wraps, but not consecutively. So she'll either do one or the other. If she strikes, she's striking and not closing her mouth. She's just striking with an open mouth, not closing it and pulling it away. It's almost like a defensive strike, but she pulls away with an open mouth. Sometimes I can put the rodent up to her neck and she'll wrap it. And when she does that, I always just close the tub. I put her in her upturned hide and I close the tub. And I pray to 7 or 8 different deities. It never works. Prayers are never answered. But I always hope that she will eat on her own, and she hasn't yet. So I assist feed. And I have I have a few strategies for that. Hey, let me get this stuck shed. You've got stuck shed right here. Let me just do this. I have some strategies for that. Sometimes I will go a month where I just offer, and when she doesn't take it, I will leave the rodent in there for the night and then just throw it away the next morning. And then so that'll be for four meals that I offer, 4 or 5 during that month. And then I'll start an assist feed where she'll get assist fed every month. I still offer, but if she doesn't take it, I assist feed. So just trying different things. I have hesitated to try to offer her a live meal. I did it once and it didn't work. I might do it again. In fact, I think I will do it again. I just have to supervise because she doesn't strike well. She is super strong and she wraps really well, but her mouth just doesn't work great. So the idea is to get this snake eating on her own, however long it takes. And then Lori Weiser, who we were just talking about, has dibs on her. I will be just sending this snake. I'm not selling the snake. I just want to give it a good home. And Lori will give the snake a great home once she's eating on her own. So that's what's happening with little B. Arthur Dent. For those who don't know, she has a little dent on the side of her head, which affects her jaw motion. So it is a physical anomaly that she has. Other than that, she's normal and strong. She's just a problem eater. Joy's asking what genes she has. She is, let's see, she's Orange Dream, Spot Nose. I just put her away. If I looked at her, I would be able to tell you. She might be Spot Nose Orange Dream. I think that's what she is. Okay. Oh, Matthew Tracy, another super chat. Thanks, Matthew. You don't do shots of the good stuff. I like mine neat in a chilled glass. Hey, chilled glass is a good idea. I like mine neat as well. And I tried whiskey rocks a long time ago. I don't like whiskey rocks. I sometimes add a little bit of water to it, especially if it's a really high ABV. But chilled glass is a good idea. I should put some glasses in the freezer. I haven't done that before. Okay, is that the only super chat that I almost missed? I think so. All right, I think that we are darn close to done. Is there any other snakes that anyone is dying to see before we sign off? We're at 2 hours and 44 minutes and 4 seconds. I think 2:45 is a really good long live stream. Thanks for being here. Thanks, Sherry. Wait, where'd you go? Thanks, Sherry. That's very nice of you to say. Appreciate that. Amy with the super chat. I've got to leave again, friends. I've got a hot date. Oh, nice. Very good. You and Brady are going out somewhere. I can't wait to hear about it. You guys are great. Bob, you're the best. Have a fabulous night, everybody. Amy, you are the best. And also the other Amy. Both Amy's are the best. Jennifer's asking for Molly. I can accommodate that real quick before we sign off. Miss Molly Malone, who is in her whiskey tin. Here's Molly. Oh, look, her face is even right there. I don't want to pull her out. She's so comfy. But here, this is a great shot of her. She is hi. Are you just in your whiskey sleeve? It's a nice one. Molly just ate a big meal a couple days ago, and she is not a great eater. She does not eat all her meals that I offer her. So I was happy that she ate the other day. She's an okay eater. She just doesn't. She skips like at least every other meal. She skips. She just doesn't like to eat very often. Amy, is the website up for Emerald Tours? That's a good thing to ask. So Happy Basins, you guys, on Instagram. Amy at Happy Basins runs Emerald Tours. She is who you would book through if you wanted to go to the Amazon jungle. Wait till you see my videos on this. The footage I got is amazing. Amy, let me know in the chat what the website. I think is it just emeraldtours.com? No, it's not. It's not that. Or maybe it will be and it's not up yet. I don't know. But the point is, it doesn't matter. You don't need to go to a website. You can go to Instagram and message Happy Basins on there if you're interested in finding out about a customized trip to the Suriname Amazon jungle. All right. That's it, you guys. We did it. Thanks for being here. I can't wait to show you the videos that I'm working on this trip. I appreciate you all being here. I'm not going to drink this whole thing. I'm pouring it back. Talk to you later. Bye, everybody.